this here is just another site I'm considering on Rock Lake. There's my canoe there. Nice little sandy beach area I could wash up in. The site itself is up here. Got a nice fire pit by the lake. Pretty decent bench. It's a little too round, not very comfy on the bum. There's the fire pit. This one also has a table. This little rock bench here I thought was pretty cool. Over there is another sandy beach that I just was talking about a minute ago. You could go swimming there quite easily. I did follow this path here. I thought it went down to the beach, but there's just wads of toilet paper everywhere, so I didn't really feel like exploring that too much. And that really kind of gives you a feel for the whole site. Everywhere I look is toilet paper, bits of duct tape, a whole bunch of glow sticks were left behind. So the last group was pretty messy. So this is your main tent area. I could hang my hammock between this tree and that tree. Still not sure if I'll stay here. And you follow this up. This actually goes quite a ways back. There's lots of area to explore. You'll see a sign about the washroom. And I'm not going to go all the way there. I'm just going to show you a bit of it. But it's a good trek in the dark. It starts off pretty open and easy to navigate. And you get up here, you see another sign indicating that there's a washroom. And this is where it starts to feel a bit overgrown. Gonna have to squeeze between some trees. So there's the washroom indicator. And then it veers off to the left here. And I think the bits of duct tape are actually indicating the right way to go. So there's one up on that tree there. Probably used to indicate the way back. Not sure if it was right here. Somewhere around here, all the little trees had duct tape in it. When you actually got up to the washroom, there was 2 glow sticks on a tree up there. So I can understand the glow sticks. You know, if you've got kids, you set up some lights and makes it a little easier for them to get to and from the washroom. Even for adults, you know, at nighttime, who wants to go wandering into the dark woods? I usually make sure I've done my business long before that. But it's one thing to use glow sticks and stuff like that, but please pack them out. I don't want to see them. I'm just debating if I want to grab them and bring them out. The only reason I'm hesitating is just because my garbage bag's kind of buried in my canoe. But I'm not sure if I'm going to take this site. I'm not overly impressed. It is pretty windy too. And the spot where I said I could hang my hammock is kind of parallel to the wind, so the wind would cut right between the hammock and tarp. So I don't really like the thought of that. It could chill me in the night. So there is a site just across the bay here. So you'll see it over there. I'm going to paddle over there and check it out. I see another group coming, so I should probably hurry up and go check it out before they do, because I don't want them stealing it. Worst case scenario, I come back to this site. It is just for one night. Anyways, back down to my canoe. Alright, so I settled on a site for the night. It's just across the water from that site I was at earlier. So you can see that beach to the left there with the 2 sticks sticking out. And you can see the red or the orange sign there. I'm colorblind, so I don't really know what color that is. And there's another one over there. I didn't even check that one out. It just didn't look too nice. But this site here is a nice big rock face. I always like it when a site has a nice landing area like this, so you can sit on the rock in the morning and it tends to soak up a lot of heat. You can warm up and have your coffee. Now, most of this looks like it was underwater typically. This whole section here would be underwater. You can see the water line up here. So that once again gives you an idea of how much the water level is down this year. As for the site, it's a nice big open site. It's one of the cleanest sites I've ever seen. I'm just going to pick up these 2 pieces of firewood here I see. I've been walking around collecting firewood for the last half hour. But yeah, so nice big open area here. You could probably put a few tents here depending on how close you want to go to the fire. There is another table here. and another table there. So before this weekend, I'd never been at a site that had a wooden table, and this year pretty much every site's had one, and this one's got two. Now this here is a bench to sit on, but it's nowhere near the fire, so I'm lucky I've got my little chair there. If not, I could probably use one of those rocks. Got my tarp set up here, got some stuff drying, got this set up in porch mode. No hammock set up yet, just wanted to make sure I had that set up in case the rain came back. It's been pretty unpredictable today. But yeah, lots of space here. I actually did some exploring when I first got here, and there's a lot to check out. So if you come around this way, you'll see a sign indicating that there's the washroom over here. Where's the sign? So you should see the little speck of yellow on that tree down there. Now there's actually a tree that has recently fallen down and blocked that path. I know it's recent because all the leaves and stuff it's knocked down are all, dark green, so nothing's died yet. Luckily there's an alternate path, so you don't have to climb over that log every time. But we'll come up here and do some exploring. Now this area is a point, so there's water on the other side. So it's almost like an island, but not quite. The other side I was at just recently, you could do the same thing there and kind of go explore. So I'm gonna go left because I haven't been up here yet. This is a nice big mound. Nothing to see up here really, but lots of open space. I like it when there's lots of area to explore. I find when it's really overgrown and congested, you kind of feel just like that. You feel congested, you feel claustrophobic and not very comfortable. So when it's open like this, you can relax a bit and enjoy the campsite. So just over here is the toilet. So there's that there. Looks like it's in good shape. The last one I was at was pretty nasty. I'm not sure what that big pile is there. I hope there's not a pile of crap under it. But yeah, so just down here, this is a regular path that you were supposed to follow with the tree laying down. You can see where that snapped off up there. That was part of a big tree that split into two, and the whole one section came off. So that would have made quite the thud if you were sleeping here that night. But just gonna hike up here a bit more, just to show you that you can see a bit of the lake over here. And there's another big open area here. You could set up your hammock or tent here if you wanted to. And it's quite windy. You can probably hear that through the microphone. Probably can't even hear half of what I'm saying, but it's a good thing I didn't pick that first side. I would have suffered tonight. But this path, I followed it for quite a while. I think it leads to a site that's over there in that bay. But, it's a little overgrown. I didn't really want to get covered in bugs and spider webs. So it's quite windy here. I'm going to go back to the site. But it's quite a nice site. Lots of firewood to pick up and burn. No signs of like big chunks of wood though. Like I haven't seen any good sized branches. So I'm glad I brought that chunk of wood I had, because I would like to have a fire to dry off tonight. But you can only do that if you've got firewood to burn. So it looks like there is a bit of wood right there I can burn. That's awesome. Once again, people have tied little ribbons to indicate the pathway. I can understand the concept, but I really wish people wouldn't do that, or at least bring them home when you're done. You don't need to leave them here for the next crew. I can find the washroom on my own. So that's the site. It's a nice site. I'm pretty happy with it. a nice area over there for me to set up my hammock. And nice little fire pit here. So there's the wood I've collected so far. There's the little bundle of wood I brought with me. And yeah, right now my back is killing me just because it's tired from a hard day's work. So I'm gonna, I don't know what I'm gonna do first. Should probably set up the hammock soon, get that fire going, make some dinner. A whole bunch of things I should be doing. Problem is, when you're tired, you just don't feel like doing anything. But yeah, we're back to where we started. There's my shoes drying there. Unfortunately, they got pretty wet from the rain. I'd switched to my rain shoes, or my water shoes, and didn't cover up my boots in the back of the canoe, and they got drenched. So I have no dry shoes to wear. It's half the reason I have to have a fire tonight. But yeah, way off in the distance there. I don't really like digital zoom, but you should be able to see the big rock face. That's the one I paddled by earlier that had the campsite near it. Looks beautiful from the lake, but it was a really crappy site. So I'm pretty happy with this one. Might go for a swim tonight. It looks like there's a nice little beach to splash around in. I'm pretty dirty, so wouldn't be a bad idea to scrub up, maybe at the least change my underwear, because I haven't done that in 3 days. So I smell pretty rank right now, but hey, when you're all alone in the woods, who cares really? If anything, it's going to keep the bears away. Anyways, time to go get some stuff done around camp. Here's one thing that arrived in the mail just the day before I came out here. It's a little S-beaner. I've got 2 of them. Picked these up off of Deal Extreme for about $1 something each. Pretty good price for these. I think they're about 5 or 6 at my local supplier. These just made a huge difference when it comes to mounting my underquilt. I take one of these, put it on each end. So there's that there. And over on this end, I've got another one. And the reason for that is because the Hennessy has a little sheath over the gathered end stuff, whatever you want to call it. It's where the hammock is all gathered together and the knot ties onto it, basically. On the War Bonnet Blackbird and some other tarps, that kind of jets off like that. At least the fabric does, and the rope kind of ties on the side. So you can hook the suspension on that. Well, the Hennessy, there just wasn't anything to hook it onto. So I've had to come up with another solution, and that was these S-beaners. So if you're going to pick up an underquilt from Wilderness Logistics, that's something you might want to keep in mind. I couldn't really find a lot of info before I ordered these. Not specific for this hammock anyways. So yeah, one of those on each side. Clip the suspension of the underquilt on there, and it works perfectly. Another thing I tried doing was unhitching the whoopee slings, so I could pull out my toggle there, run the suspension of the underquilt through that, then redo the marlin spike hitch and put it back on the toggle. That was not only a pain in the butt, but also they didn't really sit perfectly right here. The suspension would end up coming up over here on both sides, so you wouldn't really end up with the right tension. It just wasn't working out. So this is what you want to get. This is what makes it possible on the Hennessy hammock. And other than that, it's a great little underquilt. $165 I think. Summer Series underquilt from Wilderness Logistics. And I'll be putting that on in a second to show you. It's a great underquilt. So since I had to give up on my whoopee slings here, I just tied like a sliding hitch knot there, and then it comes up here, comes through the loop on the webbing. The webbing goes up there, and it's just looped around once because I needed a lot of distance here. There's a lot of space here before my shelter starts. It's a little pulled closer to that tree. But anyways, I think I told the story already, but had to kill my what do you call it, whoopee slings. They just they had pulled through. I didn't have a bead on there to stop it pulling through, and with the mosquitoes biting me, I couldn't sit there in the dark trying to fix it with a multi-tool. So gave up on that and just decided to tie a knot and just kind of accept the fact that they would never work again as a whoopee sling. But that's alright. I was going to replace them anyways. The issue is I followed all the measurements properly as far as I know, but this is how much space I have before where this little loosener is. So that if I were to hold this to take the weight off it and then slide this big loop here would tighten up, so the loop would get smaller, and then this would hang out longer. And it wasn't bad on this side. The other side was actually worse. It was like I had to pull this back because it started right here, and I just felt like that distance should start here. But I found that the whole range of adjustability just wasn't working for me. So I'm going to order some professionally made ones and see if they're any better. But overall, I am enjoying the Whippy slings. They work pretty well. I'm quite impressed with them. I've gotten pretty good at tying a marlin spike hitch. It's a fun little knot. Didn't have to do it on this side just because of my little sacrifice here. But yeah, get some Whippy slings. It's way better than the stock Hennessy hammock suspension. So I've got the jet boil all set up. I'm just about to go down to the lake and get about 2 cups of water, which I will boil on the the jet boil, and then I'm going to dump it into this package here. This is Natural High's Kung Pao chicken, and I love Kung Pao chicken. I'm pretty pumped about this. It's saying per half package 250 calories, so about 500 altogether. Not bad for one person. Some of the other ones I brought were too much for one person, but this one looks like it'll be good. A lot of carbs in there, not a lot of fat, tons of sodium, but I've sweated a lot today, so I lost a lot of sodium. Not too worried about that. But time to boil some water and see how this tastes. Okay, so I've let the water boil for a little bit longer just to make sure everything in there is dead. Next thing I'm going to do is break down the jet boil here. Put this into the little companion cup just so it's safe to handle. I'm just going to set the burner aside for now. And next I'm going to take the Kung Pao chicken. I'm just going to give her a shake. Gotta make sure everything's down at the bottom so it doesn't pour out when I tear it open. So these have a double seal, so you tear it across here, and then there's actually like a Ziploc seal right there. So after you fill this up with the hot water, you can reseal it. So I'm just going to tear this open. Take a look here. It says to take out the oxygen absorber and the peanut pack. So you see this looks like the peanuts here. Set that aside. Oxygen absorber. I think I saw another one. There's another one there. And inside looks like some chicken, some noodles, some flavoring. Just gonna fluff out the bottom here. Set this down. It says to slowly add the 2 cups of water, so I'll try my best to do that. Set that down for the moment. And there's some flavoring on here, so I'm just gonna try and knock it in there. And I'll put my garbage in my pocket. And now I'm just going to pour the last of the water in. That was 2 cups or 500 milliliters. And now I'm just going to zip it up and set it aside for a while. I think it said 10 or 15 minutes. I'll double check. And now all I have to do is wait. Okay, so it's been about 20 minutes. I said to set it for 10, but got busy chopping firewood and a few other things. So at this point, I don't need the jet boil right here. I'm just going to open this up and take a look. It's still pretty hot. Now I need to stir this right away. Now I just looked off the spork and it tastes pretty good. But I do feel like it's a bit too much water. There's what it looks like. It's pretty sloppy and icky, but tastes pretty good. Now at this point it says to sprinkle the peanuts on top. So I'm going to do that. See how this tastes. It's pretty good. You're splitting it, you can pour it into a bowl. I'm going to be eating it on my own, so I'm just going to eat out of the package, but I don't like having all that bag there, so I'm going to use my knife. I'm just going to chop off the top there and gonna chow down a bit more. It's definitely not anything like I expected. Like when I eat this, I don't think kung pao, and I don't think chicken. Picking up the peanut, the noodle, a bit of flavor. I don't really know what it is. But I picture kung pao chicken as being spicy. So I just got my first piece of chicken, and it's pretty chewy. It's not bad, but it's a lot of work to get through it. Now I just got what looks like a pea pod. So there are some probably snow peas in here. Just picked up a little floating pea. So that might have fallen out of a pod, or who knows. Bit of something red, maybe tomato, I don't know. Some kind of an herb in there, like basil or something. It's not bad. I'd eat this again. For how simple it was, it sure beat the shepherd's pie in terms of simplicity. Spent half the day preparing that. This boil water, that takes 2.5 minutes on a jet boil. Let it sit for 10 minutes. It's a 12-minute meal. Saves on dishes too. When you've got the jet boil, this is the perfect kind of prepared meal to make. Just because the jet boil is really good at boiling water and not much else. And that's all you have to do for these is boil water, dump it in. So, anyways, I'm going to keep eating this. Get my calories in. Bit more food than I was hoping for. I'll see how I do though. I might have to burn some. Now if I had to rate this Kung Pao chicken I think I'll give it about a 7.2 out of 10. I don't want to give it a full 8 just because it wasn't at all Kung Pao chicken, but it's quite tasty. It was very easy. What I like about it is it's only 500 calories, so it's enough for one person, maybe a bit much, but a lot of them are 500 calories per serving with 2 servings in the bag. So when you're soloing, you don't want a 1,000-calorie meal. That's way too much. You might have had a demanding day and maybe you could use the calories, but it's still a lot of food to take in at once. So anyone that's 500 calories, that's awesome. That means it works for just me. But yeah, if anyone knows a good source for ordering freeze-dried meals for one person, please let me know. I'd really like to know that. I've been picking these up at Mech and at a local supplier in my town, but it's $5 a meal and it's way too much food. So if I could spend, even if it's only 3 or 4 a meal and have it just the right amount of food, I'd be pretty happy with that. So I just finished up this meal. Ended up being just the right amount of food for me. I'm nice and full. I feel well satiated. I don't feel overstuffed. So this one worked out pretty well for one person. Now I've just got this gooey bag to deal with. I have no dishes other than my spork, which I can lick clean. Excuse me. As for this, I'll probably just throw this on the fire later. If not, it'll end up in my garbage bag, which I am packing out of here. But it's important to make sure to hang this with a bear bag if you aren't burning it. This would lure in a bear for sure. So it's about 8:40. Just finished washing up in the lake. Feel much better. It's really muggy and my face feels really icky, but even after scrubbing it off, I still feel greasy again. So I think that's just the humidity. Temperature is already starting to drop. I think it'll get pretty cool and damp tonight, so I'm gonna cozy up in my hammock eventually and get some sleep. But first I'm gonna wait it out a bit and see if I can have a fire tonight. That's all dependent on the mosquitoes. If this site is anything like the site I was at last night and the night before, they're about to go into a feeding frenzy. I think both nights it happened about 8:40, 8:45, which is right about when it is right now. So I'm a little nervous. I've got everything put away. I've got the bear bag hung. I've got my hammock all ready to go. So worst comes to worst, I'll just dive in there. But I really hope they don't bug me and I can get a fire going and enjoy my last night here, because it's a beautiful place and I want to enjoy it. If not, see you in the morning. Alright, so it's about 10:30. I've been sitting around the fire for about 2 hours now. It's just still as can be out. Water's flat as glass. The sky is clear as can be. Sat and looked at the stars for a bit. Only saw one meteorite, so I can at least say I saw one of the stragglers of the Perseids. The main event was about 2 days ago. Yesterday would have been pretty decent, but today you just get a few odds and ends. But been enjoying my fire. It's been burning just great. I had a huge pile of wood here. I don't know if you can see what's left. I just threw on the pieces that I've been carting around all day from my... Well, first I found it on a site on Glary. Then I brought it to the island site. It sat there for 2 days. Found a bit more wood, added that to the pile, and I wrapped it all up in some rope and brought it back here today. So I finally got the chance to burn that wood, which makes me happy. Collected a lot of wood over the few hours before the sun went down, but burned through it pretty quick. But that's alright, I'm getting pretty tired. About ready for bed. Just want to burn up what's left here. It's my last night, so no rush going to bed. As long as I'm in bed by midnight, I'm happy. But well, it's about 11:30. I've got the last pieces of wood on the fire right now. Just letting them burn down a fair bit. Hoping to be to bed in maybe a half hour or so. But rehung the bear line, or bear bag. Everything's on there now, and it's a little bit higher, but not much. so we just gotta hope for the best there. Alright, so it's about quarter to midnight. The fire's burned down to just a few little logs. I just crawled into the hammock. I've got my sweater on, my nice cozy socks, and I'm all snug as a bug in here. A little warm, but hoping it cools down a bit through the night. That way, you know, I don't have to shed insulation. I can take my socks off easily. The blanket I can kick aside. The only thing that would be tricky is the sweater. But anyways, just chilling here in my hammock. Get my little whistle just in case anything comes along and I need to scare it away. And it's time to take off the headlamp and go to bed. Good night.